A lot.
Yes.
But we're running out of time. The class is
I've got a
happening
couple
in
of questions we can do. Did I leave anything out, James? No. This is a very rushed.
Yeah.
We should spend more time talking about each of them. But
What's your two organizations that will serve most of arts admins you would recommend to look at?
Well, but that's the problem, right? And not the problem, but what's great about this program, but it's also a challenge, is that sort of arts administration is so big, right? You're talking about membership organizations, or?
Yeah, like which one, like?
Well, it depends. If you're into museum education, you could do NICMER or the Roundtable, the New York City Roundtable. I don't remember the name. The one that's about arts education, the Arts Education Roundtable, right? I'm sure there are thousands. There's Dance NYC for dance and performance. You have to do the research.
When I started to do research, I found so many that I start to doubt if they, like, which of them are a real good one, or like the same with the conferences. There's tons of them, but like to see the program, the one is like $12,000 to participate, others is $700, others are free, and you kind of like start to be lost.
I mean, just start with the free ones and see where it goes, right? Becoming a member of NICMER is $25. The arts education is also $50, right? That's why you have to do a little bit of research.
Mm-hmm.
Because also, it's not that I don't want to tell you. Again, I would have to think about it, based on your interests, but it's also in doing the research and making the decisions. It's also when you start sort of like narrowing down the path.
Agree.
I wouldn't spend $1,200 on just joining a membership organization now.
I've been talking about those conferences, just to...
Yeah, conference, I'll be careful. Yeah, I mean, you could go to conference, but I'll be careful. There's one more thing I want to say, which is important, and then, I might have to go, is 99% of the things that you learn in life, where did you learn them?
School.
No.
By doing it.
Yeah,
by doing
learning
it.
by doing
Experiential learning. How does the cycle of experiential learning works? You do something, right? And then what happens?
Make a mistake.
Yeah, probably, but until you don't stop for a minute and you reflect that you did that, you don't make conscious that learning, right? That's why we all think that everything we learn in school. Most of the things we learn them, in life, right? So what do we do every time that we're about to have a job interview? We sit with a job description, right? We look at the list of things that they're asking for, skills, education, and we start thinking about, if we qualify for that. Do I know how to make budgets? Yes, actually I learned making budgets, when I was helping my dad at the store. Do I know how to type? Yes, I know how to type because whatever. That is the moment in which most of us, we spend the time reflecting how much we have learned in the past. What I recommend you do is every 6 months, take an hour to sit and write on a piece of paper, think what you did in the last 6 months, either at work, either at school, either at the internship, or either when you were volunteering for something, and make a list of things that you learned. So you close the loop of experiential learning, and you're ready the next time that you have to interview for something, because the interview is a formal way of telling somebody what you know, but you're going to be putting yourself, if you do this, in a lot of situations that is going to be in the form of an interview, right? It's going to be on an elevator ride. It's going to be over shrimp and glass of wine, at an opening. Sort of like knowing, what you have been learning and the skills that you have been developing is good to to have it, at the tip of your tongue. And I wanted to say something else and I forgot, which was, and the other thing I recommend always people is you figure out how much time you have and how often you want to do it, but also interviewing for a job is a muscle that you exercise. If you have a job, then you've been in a job. I had a job that I was there for 8 years, and they have been promoting me from within throughout the 8 years. So I have an interview for 8 years. The first time I went on an interview, completely sucked. And I was in the interview. I was like, I was embarrassed of myself, right? I didn't know how to talk about the work I was doing. I didn't know about, how I was, what I had learned, how I had accomplished. And then I realized that, this interviewing thing is a thing that you just sort of like, just reflecting again about, the value that you bring to a job. Is that, it's something that you exercise. So sometimes I encourage people to go for job interviews just for the sake of it. You should prepare. You shouldn't waste anybody's time. And two things could happen. One is that it's an exercise, and it would help you to the next interview. And sometimes you might get surprised. So I like to say that I always like to say that you have to say you should say yes until you have to say no. Right? If somebody says, is this job for you? I remember somebody at NICMER coming to me and saying, there's a job at El Museo del Barrio.